Hey guys, Matt here. Hopefully I got this working. I wanted to try it out and just kind of do a little chat live stream for a little bit and see if this is working. Um, Never done it before, but I figured come on and talk to some people if you want to pop in. A couple things I was going to talk about is obviously if you are into comics and comic grading, you know that CGC has changed their pricing coming up, and I believe tomorrow's the last day for it. So I was going to talk about that, give you a couple of my opinions and some feedback. Um, for the most part, CGC grading, if you submit comics, has been the same for a couple of years now. And just recently, they did decide to increase. Now, we've seen this across the boards from PSA and many other ones, SGC, that are card collecting companies that are grading sports cards and Pokemon and other ones. And now, with the influx of money in the market, and I think some of these individuals who are coming into comics, now we're seeing CGC get some backup, and now they're increasing their prices. And I kind of was upset about it in the beginning. Now I've kind of learned to live with it. I think it was announced last week, and what basically was happening is you would pay $149. You could even pay a lower tier, but $149 for the membership. And what you would do is you would get $150 credit when you submit books. And that has not changed, but you used to be able to get as well a percentage off the tier. And now when I say the tier, there's modern, value, and some other ones, depending on the extent of the books that you're going to submit. And in this particular case, I would typically get 10% off for that $150 plus the credit. So it kind of paid for itself and provided, some really good bang for the buck, in my opinion. And their turnaround time was pretty good. That has backed up and since changed, and now they have increased their prices. So now for a membership, a premium membership, and you can get all this stuff on CGC comics.com, is $150. You get 10% off the store, which is if you buy supplies from them, you get your $150 credit. So virtually it kind of cancels out, but you no longer get that 10% discount if you are a regular customer. That has changed. You can move up to the elite tier, and the elite tier is $299, and that was there before. And with the elite tier, you get the full access to submissions and things like that. You would get the 10% off some supplies, and you used to be able to get 15% off your grading tier. So if the price of a modern book was $20, under a premium you'd pay $18, under an elite you'd pay $17. And so that has now changed, where for $299 you get the $150 credit, and now you just get the 10% off the grading tiers, which basically is what you did before if you were a premium member. So it has changed. One of the big things, and I don't know if people catch this now or not, is if you renew your membership today, and I don't know if it ends by tomorrow night or what have you, but if you renew it right now, or you just enter into a membership, you lock in your percentage, the prior pricing, what I currently have now, which was 10%. I actually upgraded my account for one more year, and I upgraded to the elite. So I paid $279 because it was on the auto renew. I get 15%, and I get that now through through next May, before I then have to change into these new tiers. So you kind of get grandfathered in if you do that. And if you're a big submitter, and I consider myself a decent submitter, I submit a couple hundred books a year, it's well worth it. So it's just something for you to consider if you are maybe a small submitter of only 5 to 10 books a whole year. It may not be worthwhile to you. You'd kind of have to evaluate that accordingly. But I do believe, for people who do submit a number of books like myself, it's worthwhile to jump in right now, upgrade your tier. I would upgrade to the elite, and at least lock yourself in for 15% off, as well as that $150 credit for that, 279 or 299 amount. So that's just how I did it. Everybody's a little different. Everybody's financial account is a little different, how they want to handle it, but it is worthwhile to look at it. Now, there's been talk about a lot of people now going to CBCS as a result of it. And let me just tell you, I've sent in some books to CBCS, not a ton, but I have tried them out. I've tried their verified signature, and I also tried their grading. I can tell you, based on my impression, that I think they're pretty fair. I think they grade pretty well. I didn't see anything glaringly wrong with their grading. They did the I've had a reholder to kind of see their new slabs. I really actually like their new slabs. I don't like the labels, but the slabs are very nice. I think their grading is great. If you have a phone, there's a little QR code in the back. You scan it, tells you everything you need to know about grading notes, and they put in fairly good notes, and they're free. So whether it's under my account or you just want to scan it as a customer who didn't buy the book, the grading notes are all included. And that's one of the really nice things about CBCS. And I wish CGC did that. CGC, if you didn't submit it, you've got to pay $5 for the grading notes. If I remember correctly, it's $5. I typically, when I grade, I check for my notes right away. And a lot of complaints are that you don't always get grader notes. Grader notes are not guaranteed. So if you get a 9.4, even a 9.0, I've hit, and you may not know what's wrong with the book because there's no notes. So, there's quirks about each of the companies. I believe, based on what I've seen and heard through the community, CGC always commands a higher price value than a CBCS. That may not always be the case, and that may be changing now given this unique circumstance. Because you look at it now that we've got CGC raising their prices, so this would be a great time for CBCS if they stay with their pricing tiers and their turnaround time stays fairly quicker than CGC's. You could see a change, or at least I don't know that they're going to take over the market, but you may see a increase in the use of CBCS. I really see that happening more so with stores. My understanding, based on what I've been hearing, is that stores, retailers or ones who've had a business account with CGC who used to get 20% off their grading and services are no longer having that benefit. So because of that, and the backlog, a lot of stores that submit multiple variants and things like that to get that quick turnaround time may now go to CBCS so they can get, their pre-screened 9.8s right back and sell them to their customers versus waiting on CGC because of the backlog. So those are discussions that have come up. I think it's a little early to tell. I mean, CGC, has been around for a little while longer, so they're going to command, and they do command, a better market presence and probably better prices. And I can tell you, I've seen that just as a customer buying and shopping on eBay and all. If you don't mind what the slab is, whether it's CGC or CBCS, you can get a good deal on some CBCS books if you can catch it, because they tend to sell somewhat lower. So if you have, I've got some books here. So let's just say this is a Cover A Taskmaster 3, and you have a CGC 9.8 versus a CBCS 9.8. Typically the CBCS sells for less. I'm not saying that that's always the case. I'm not saying it should be the case. But if you look at books, they tend to have a bigger or higher rate of sale with CGC. If you're shopping on eBay or any of the sites, people tend to type in CGC 9.8 or whatever the book is, CGC versus CBCS. Maybe that'll change in time with the dynamics that are currently happening, but that's just what I believe some of the reality to be. So from that standpoint, I think that may change some of the grading habits of some, not all. I'm not going to turn around and stop sending to CGC because they increased from, I believe it, 20 to, I don't know if it went to 24 or 22 a book, but it did go up. It was a jump, and then I would say significant or not significant, but that depends on who you are. But it's definitely a price increase, and I think CGC is going to justify it because they've hired new people. They've said, I think they announced over 70 new people. They've also expanded their footprint in Sarasota, expanding and purchasing some more space. Now, will that change the turnaround times and all? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see how that goes. But it is interesting to kind of see how this dynamic plays out, because I do believe this presents CBCS with a great opportunity if they take it, if they keep their prices the same, if they keep their turnaround time low. People talk about pressing. CBCS pressing seems to have a very, very long backlog. I don't know if that's changed. I have never used them. I don't use CCS, which is CGC's presser, anymore. I use a private presser. I've used a couple of different ones in the community. I think it's always good to be able to have contact with your presser, to know, hey, what do you think? Or if there's something that I'm missing, they'll call me or email me and let me know. And some of these private pressers will submit their books for you. They were giving you their discount. I don't know if that's going to change now, given the new tiers and all. But I tend to like to get my books back, and the reason is because when I submit them, I can watch and see where they are and know when I'm getting at least billed, versus I submit them through a presser, and other than knowing that they were received by CGC, I just have no idea where they are. And so that's a little bit more of an anxiety for me. I like to at least know that books are received, books are coming back and all. I try not to look when I know that they're coming back, so I can kind of be surprised. But regardless, I like knowing where they are on the queue, and I can track that with when I submit them, where I can't do that with a presser. So that's just how I handle it. Everybody's a little different, and I mean, I'd love to know what everybody else thinks, but I find that that's kind of an important component for me. Do I save a little money submitting it through a third-party presser? Yeah. So that may be a big deal for some. For me, the amount that I save is not enough for me to kind of want to lose control in that process and know where my books are. So that's just how I feel about it. So that's kind of a little bit of the information on CGC and CBCS. I think it's worth looking into if you submit books, whether you want to submit some to CBCS. And I'm definitely going to submit more books to CBCS. I think they did a great job. I actually just purchased from a store a nice slab, 9/8 slab from them that I'm really happy with. I think their slabs are nice. I don't like their labels. I know you will hear me repeat it and repeat it. I just think they could do a better job with the labels. But other than that, I think their grading is just as good. I think their new case, they have changed cases over the years, just as CGC. Their new case is really nice. You don't have to reholder it, which is what is recommended for CGC. After about 10 years, they want you to send it in for a reholder to refresh the interior archival material and lining that goes in the book. My understanding is with CBCS, you do not have to do that. So that could be a big deal to some, especially if you have books like, as many books like I do. I have probably 300 plus slabs on top of all my raw books and what I submit. I mean, I have a number of books, so that can be really expensive, and not everybody reholders and does that every 10 years, but it is recommended, at least based on some of the things I have read. Another thing I was going to bring up is, I was looking online because, given all the books that I have slabbed with CGC, I've never used their registry. And the registry is an interesting component that I had never really gotten into. And I started to look at it and started to dabble with it. And I think it's going to deserve its own video, but, for purposes of just touching upon it. So CGC has a registry where people, and it's free to sign up once you have, your accounts and all, it's free to sign up, but people competitively, mark in their comics and their slabs for their collection and gain points depending on your score and what you have filled and different things. And it's a very interesting thing, and people are very competitive on this. And I started putting some of my slabs in, and I'll tell you, it gets a little addicting. You want to get your points, you want to fill up the slots as far as a run is concerned and all. And some people have just beautiful imaging and entire runs of books that you can see in their grades, and it's really nice and it's competitive. And I was looking, because it took me a little while to understand how to kind of set up my account as far as submitting books. I was submitting, or I thought I was submitting correctly. I was getting a rejection from a system administrator like this. And so I was like, I don't know what it is I'm doing. Let me go to YouTube. Let me try and find a video. And you know what? I couldn't find one. So I think my next project is to put one together just for people, just a basic one. I'm not a master of it, but just a basic one to kind of explain, because if I didn't know how to do it, I'm sure there are other people that probably are the same way. So I thought maybe that would be a good thing to kind of put in there. So that's just something that I'm going to probably put together in one of my videos. And let me know your thoughts, and if you think it's worthwhile or think people care about it. I just thought it would be somewhat helpful to possibly do that. So other than the mess going on in my office and lots of stuff going on, I wish I could show you some beautiful backgrounds, but this is just kind of where I sit and do my work, and when I'm at my home office and sitting down doing my comics. I picked up a bunch of different books that I figured I'd show you and kind of see. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to be submitting because of the change and my concern right away. I actually just submitted another 25 book submission, and normally I film them and I show everybody. I didn't do that on this one because I was worried about getting it out in time. So I actually just submitted another 25 books. So right now I currently have, I would say, 75 books, about 75 or maybe 80 books over at CGC right now for grading. I can tell you at least 50 of them, 2 of them, 25 pre-screens, haven't even been logged in. They just got over there this past week, so I don't expect them to be logged in at least for about 4 weeks, and that's kind of how the backup is. So just keep that in mind, because that's what I'm talking about, is you're submitting books, you're getting them sent over, and you're not seeing anything back. At least you're not seeing it registered in their system, even though I send mine FedEx, so I know it's been delivered. You're just not seeing it, and people are getting concerned, and obviously that's one of the things that you deal with. But I did prepare. I've got 2 books for the James Tynion signing that's coming up. Your books have to be received by May 1st. Today is April 27th, so I'm going to get them out tomorrow and submit these 2. These are, just to give you an idea, this is a Department of Truth book, and this is also a Solid Blood number 17, which was like a surprise book that Tynion put out there. So I'm going to submit those. I was going to submit something Killing the Children, but honestly, I could go down a rabbit hole with some of those books. So those 2 are getting submitted directly to CGC. I'm going to mail those out. I've got a ton of books back there that I have to go through, but let me show you some of the other books I'm looking at and that I'm putting together for another 25 book submission, at least at this point. It seems to change daily, but I'll give you an idea. So these are pickups I got, as I showed before. This is Taskmaster. This is the regular cover A, and this is that first appearance of the one superhero. Oh, I'm going to forget his name. Shoot. And it was he is a foreign name individual, but it's a first appearance. And the cover A has done well. There's also a variant cover, which is really hot, but I haven't been able to get that. This one is an incentive cover This is, let's see if I can get it without the glare, and I do apologize because I use the Mylars and the fullbacks. It's very, very shiny, as you can tell, which looks good, but for camera, it's not that well. So this is X-Men number 2. This is the incentive variant. This is the first appearance, I believe, of the High Summoner, and this is just a really nice cover. I actually have 2 copies that I purchased. Midtown was doing a I think it was 75% off on certain books. So I was able to pick those books, or 50% off, depending on some of the books, for about $10 a book, which I really liked. So that was one of the ones I've recently picked out. This one is the Amazing Spider-Man. This is number 62. And this is, you know, the homage, but this is the new suit that he donned in issue 61. So I was able to get this one. This was a Tyler Kirkham variant. This is the trade dress cover. There is also a Virgin cover that I was able to score as well, and that's just a yellow total cover. Really nice looking book. Other than the uniform, that's really kind of the whole reason I got it. And what I was able to do as well is pick up number 61, and 61, as you can see, with the cover, has the new uniform. And so because this is technically, at least from what I can review, the first cover appearance of the new uniform, I thought this was a really nice cover to try and grab. And I was able to get it. I think I paid $20 or $30 for it, but it was really well. If you guys are fans of Lords of the Long Box, TiVo and those guys, I really do enjoy watching them. I think tonight they have their top 10 or 11 on the ones, but they were talking about a new or potential scoop with Mikey Sutton, who they interview and all, on a character named Glyph. And so, you know, I was looking at it, and that her first appearance is something called the Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I was trying to get a cover A, and I could not find one, but I was able to luckily find one of the variant covers. So this is one of the variant covers by Scotty Young. And see if I can try and get it over here without a little glare so you could see. And so I got 2 copies, and this is, again, the first appearance of Glyph. So, you know, a cover B works for me just as well. These I was able to grab for about $5 a book. You may still be able to get them on Midtown, or whoever you search for on your particular vendor. But, you know, what I would tell you is use either Cover Price or CLZ. Look up the variants, because even though people get cover A, you can potentially still grab for a great deal a cover B if you don't have a problem with that. And I absolutely don't. It's still a first appearance. It's just a cover B, and it's a good price. So I was able to grab those. I got the Access Hobgoblin, and this particular one has to do with Black Cat. And I'm trying to remember the change on the moniker of this one, but this was a key change. And so I was able to find a copy of this for, you know, undercover price. It's not a difficult issue to get. And, you know, if you look at something like Key Collector, you can obviously look up the different ones. I'm trying to see if maybe I can pull it up while I kind of discuss, so I can at least give you the reason for that one, because it is very difficult for me to keep up with all of the different ones. So Lily Hollister becomes Queen Cat, formerly Menace. So you know, I believe that that Black Cat and all of those characters are coming into the Spider-Verse. So to me, these are like little specs that I can kind of pick up for around cover price, and maybe they'll pan out, maybe they won't. But you know, when you can get something around cover price that may or may not work, it may not be a bad speculation to try. So Immortal Hulk number 1. This is one of the variants. This is the Midtown Comics one. And, I wanted to get Immortal Hulk. That run is a good run. I wanted to get a cover A. It's going for about anywhere between 50 to 75. I have not been able to find one at a reasonable price, but I did find this cover. And this cover, like I said, is just a variant of number one. I paid $10 for it. Same guts, just different cover. So I don't typically have a problem with that. And now the way I look at it is I was able to get an Immortal Hulk number one. Al Ewing is also doing a signing if people are interested at CBCS. I was debating about sending that in for his signature on that one. So another book I was able to pick up. This is the Midtown Comics version. I did a little bit of a Midtown haul, if you can't tell. Star Wars Darth Vader number one. Now, this, again, another variant cover. But, what I try and tell people is, to me, is if you can get the variants, and I'm going to pull up the importance of it because, to me, it's just as well and just as good. So with this particular one, and I'm trying to see if I can get Star Wars Darth Vader. Here we go. So this is the first appearance of the Black Kristan, a Wookiee bounty hunter, and the first cameo appearance of Dr. Silo. Remember, issue number 3 is basically the first appearance of Dr. Aphra. So Star Wars Darth Vader number one, if you can grab a copy of the cover appearance, that's great. There are a number of different variants, and even though this doesn't show in Key Collector, this is one of them. So if you look at maybe cover price or CLZ, you're going to see it's the same thing, in my opinion, just a different cover. So I was able to snag this, I think, for $7, which worked perfectly fine. Another set that I got actually 4 copies of, and is A-Force, and this is the Scotty Young variant. I have cover A in a 9.8. I have this one in a 9.8, but I actually had bought 2, so I was able to sell one of these. And the last sale, my sale of this one, went for $175 in a 9.8. So I was able to score 4 more copies of this book, which I will submit to CGC, and this, in essence, I will sell these for if they come back, obviously, in a 9.8, because that pays for my submission, because I already have one. So that's how I look at that one, and I was able to get those books for a fairly reasonable price, which makes it worthwhile. I mean, if you guys can do it, pay for the hobby. This is how you do it. Couple more books. So Daredevil number 26. This is the cover A, and I believe this is the first appearance of Alice, if I'm not mistaken, on that one. And I don't know if she's going to be anything big, but like I said, whenever I can grab a first appearance at cover price, to me, it's absolutely it's worth the it's worth it. At least for me, and everybody is a little different as to what they can afford or cannot afford. So your own budget, but the way I look at it is it's worth the risk if I can pay $4 for a potential first appearance. So it is the first appearance of Alice, yes, a possible sidekick in the making for Elektra as Daredevil. I haven't read any of the Daredevil ones, but episode 25 is where Elektra debuts as Daredevil. I haven't been able to get a cover A, but I have received the there was a nullified variant, and I'm waiting for that to come in. The Ken Lashley one, I was able to pick that up for a pretty good price. So we're going to see how that one pans out. Next one. So this is the second print, Stray Dogs. I have not read this. I have heard really good things. I'm trying to think who was it. Tales from the Flip Side just did an interview with Tony. I don't know if I can't remember if it's Fleeces or Flex, but they just did an interview with him on Tales from the Flip Side. There's a lot of people who have really enjoyed this book. There's a couple of really nice, beautiful covers. I actually purchased the CBCS cover that I just said I purchased was a limited cover of the Stray Dogs one. So I do have a cover A. This is the second print. And then I was able to score a CBCS one for under $80 on a 9/8 limited cover. So that one I will probably show off at another time. Let's talk Captain America. So if you have watched the Captain America, or I should say Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who, you know, at this point in time, I'm hoping most of you watched it, so I'm not ruining anything. If I am, please mute it for the next 15 to 20 seconds. But in that one, Captain America, Falcon becomes Captain America, takes up the mantle finally. And so many people have Captain America number 25, which shows either a red kind of silhouette of Falcon becoming Captain America. And there's a second print, which is blue. I have the cover A, the red one. And I also had purchased a number of the variants. These are a couple of the lesser known variants. This is the Stomp Out Bullying variant. And I was able to pick this up for $15. If you're interested, Midtown has this one, at least as of today. It's a little bit higher price, but it may be worthwhile because obviously I don't think that's going anywhere. And now that Falcon may be acting as Captain America going forward, you know, I think it's a great buy to invest in, especially, you know, here's another variant cover with Red Skull on it. This is, again, number 25. This is the Hasbro variant cover. I got this one for $25. Midtown also has this one. I believe it's $30 or $35. Like I said, they also have cover A. I saw it today for $67. I bought it back when it was $20, but you know, it still may be worthwhile given, you know, if you're going to get it graded or you want to hold on to it, given what they're going to do with the new Captain America. A couple more to show you, and then I'm going to head off, at least for now, and I'll try and do another video sometime later this week. You know, maybe on the registry or something else. I'm going to have to see how involved it's going to get. Again, going back to those Howling Commandos, this is the incentive cover on the first appearance of Glyph. So this is another variant cover. I think this is a 10 copy incentive. I believe so, but I did get 2 copies, so I can submit them both, and hopefully we'll hit on both, if not one. Another one that's been rumored or now said to be optioned was this one, Shadecraft, and this is a really recent book. I mean, as new as earlier this month, and this has to do with basically the character having shadows that come alive or something to that effect. I haven't read it yet, so this is a cover A. I picked this up for cover price. This book is now going for about $12 to $15. Whether it really turns out to be anything, I don't know. But if you can get it for cover price, I think it's definitely worth it. I also have the Jock variant in cover B that I was able to get for $5. So if you can still get these, and I believe as of tomorrow, the second print comes out of the first one, and that may be also worthwhile if you can pick that up at your shop or store. Turning to Miles Morales and Spider-Man, this is number 13. This is actually the second print, and this is the first appearance of Miles Morales' baby sister. And this one is the second print, like I said, from the interior artwork. So this is, you know, the cover appearance, so to speak, of her. And so, you know, with everything Miles and Miles eventually coming in, I think it's a given. It's just a matter of time. I think this is a great spec book as far as getting not only his appearance, which has gone astronomical, but getting potentially a sister and seeing if they ever do anything with that. So this book is a little bit more pricey. So I was able to pick up cover A, which is this one. And obviously this second print, I was able to get them both for $40. I've seen some of these where this alone is going for $40. I've seen this one for about 25 to 30. So, I mean, if you can score one of them even for a good price or get both like I did, you know, I think that's a great way to do it. So with that being said, I think just, you know, this was my first time doing a live stream. I hope everybody enjoyed. Please, you know, do the YouTube things, like, comment, let me know. I'm always looking to kind of just improve upon the different streams and the different information and make it fun and likable to most of the people who are in the hobbies, myself included. So I hope everybody enjoyed. And again, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.